All righty. Thank you so much, folks, for being here. We have an amazingly cool webinar for you. Social Post Magic. Guys, is this software amazing or what?
It wants to be for the amount of development time that's gone into it.
Yeah, I played with it yesterday, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
It's truly amazing. Folks, I'm going to go ahead and make Mike a presenter, and that will give him the screen, and he's going to show you what this bad boy is all about.
Very cool. Let's make sure I get you on the right screen.
Yeah, we can't have that screen of Swedish blondes that you keep up on your podcast that your wife doesn't know about.
Yes. There we go. Right. Let's make sure I share the right screen, which is no, that one. Okay. Cool.
Mike, that's very cool.
I've got a large desktop. I need all the space. Cool. Is that coming through? Can people see that now? We should have.
Well, I can see it. Can y'all see it? Yes, Keith. We'll definitely have a replay. Wall says he can see it all the way in New Zealand, so the rest of us should be good.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Okay, cool. Well, I'll get cracking then because there's a fair bit to go through because it just does that much. Just for those people who kind of didn't get a chance to have a look at the little first view vid that I shot the other day, I thought it might just help if I run through a couple of the slides I did for that, just to kind of explain and position the piece of software and really just why it is such a useful tool. I kind of got up here some golden rules of social media marketing, and really I wanted to kind of put the 10 Commandments or something like that, because this is the stuff that, you know, if you don't do it, your marketing just isn't going to get traction. It's just not going to succeed in anywhere near the way that it can. And I have to sort of make a bit of a confession as well, just to get this out of the way at the beginning, and really why I wanted to make this piece of software so badly is, you know, I've kind of put myself out there as being something of a social media expert. A lot of the time I wasn't doing these golden rules, and for perfectly legitimate reasons. I got busy, I was doing something else, I got tired of whatever, but you know, not obeying these golden rules. And you can just see, you know, on websites that I'm promoting, on things that I'm doing, you can just see the traffic kind of dip off, and really it was like, oh my god, I'm not getting as many sign-ups, I'm not making as many sales, I better start upping my marketing again. And I think that's something that is kind of a cycle that people go through quite regularly, because you know, you get all excited about promoting something, or you get a new client, you do it, you know, you're putting all that work in, and then you know the day-to-day gets involved, and all of a sudden, you know, you get too busy, and you start missing things, and really I just kind of distilled this to the most important of all the rules as I understand them, and what, you know, what actually gets me results. And the first one, you know, you've got to share really great shareable content. So what I'm saying is you've got to be putting content out there that people are going to want to share as well, because you get that whole viral effect. You know, it's a brilliant way of establishing you, or whatever it is you're promoting, or the account that you're promoting, as credible as an authority. So that's kind of really important. I've mentioned this before in webinars and stuff that we've done. Certainly anybody that's done training with me, but categorically the most important thing, as long as you're doing the sharing of the great content, is the RPM, as I call it, the regular promotional message. You know, it's consistency every single day without fail. You need to be putting that message out there, and you know, you've got to vary the message, and it doesn't want to be the same old thing over and over again. But you know, there's an old rule in sales and marketing. It's a little bit of a cliche, but it's always rung true for me, and that's you've got to have contact with somebody 7 times before they even think about, you know, doing some business with you. So if the RPM is such a cool way of doing that, because you know, they'll see your first little advert, oh yeah, that's really cool, he does that, might be interested. They'll forget all about it. By the time they've seen it for a whole week, they go, I need to talk to that guy, I've got to, you know, and that's where the actual calls to action, you actually start to see that. another important thing is being all over the place. It's, you know, it's great. You know, I know we've launched some really cool LinkedIn stuff over the past sort of 6 months or so, and that's great because, you know, I know loads of people are really dominating it on LinkedIn now. But actually, it's great to be really dominant on one network, but you've also got to be on the other channels as well, because there are people that never go on LinkedIn, and if all you're doing is advertising on LinkedIn, then you're just never going to reach those people. It's plain and simple, and the same is true for Facebook, the same is true for Google+, for all the major social media networks. There are people that they might have accounts on them all, but really they just kind of hang out on one or maybe two of them. So you've got to be present on multiple channels. And then the last sort of golden rule, which is I've kind of repeated there, because again it's that important, and it's the consistency of doing this. You know, and really that was where, you know, the confession I just made, that's where I was falling down, because I'm such a busy guy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You know, I'd have maybe a good week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks where I'd be going at it nice and consistent every single day, doing the posting, keeping on top of it, and then, you know, bam, something comes up, I'm busy on a project, I'm developing a piece of software, whatever, and that's it. You've lost a week again, and it's a little bit like, for anybody who's into their fitness, I've just had this happen to me. I'm big into my fitness, and at Christmas I put on a lot of weight. I enjoyed the holidays, and I thought I've got to get really fit and get back in shape for the summer. So for the last 6 weeks after Christmas, I trained consistently every single day, every single week, and I was starting to get really fit. Well, I got a dose of the man flu, and a load of other stuff happened, and I had a couple of weeks off, and guess what? This week, trying to train has been a nightmare. I feel like I'm running up hills everywhere I go. And it's exactly the same with your social media. As soon as you break away from it, you lose that momentum, and people start forgetting about you as quickly as that. So there's kind of some really important things there that are actually real easy to do, but potentially difficult as well, just because of, you know, day-to-day life. So, I mean, the first big thing there being, where do you get the great content to share from? You know, you've got to go and find it. You've got to see what other people are sharing. You've got to kind of understand that whole thing from the ground up to be any good at it. So you know, there's an overhead there. There's something you've got to do. There's a reason for it not to happen. The second thing, time, and really, you know, again, I've repeated that with an exclamation mark, because it all boils down to time. There are only 24 hours in a day, and you know, if you've got clients, if you've got businesses, if you've got projects, kids, families, all that stuff, it's all eating into your time. It can become very difficult very quickly to find the time to obey all those golden rules. And finally, is availability as well. You know, it just sometimes is not feasible to be, you know, making sure that you're posting to LinkedIn at a certain time and then posting off to Facebook at another time, and you know, you get busy, and really it would be wrong to be sat there all day long just, you know, kind of waiting for opportunities to post stuff out to the social networks just to do a bit of marketing. You know, that'd be absolutely ridiculous. So what I needed was a thing to fix this for me, because I mean, you know, I'm lucky. I know what to do, so that's cool, and I can do it pretty quickly myself as well, because I've been doing it for so long. But it's these these dilemmas that I needed addressing for me, and going back to the consistency thing. Basically, I wanted to be able to set something up so that, you know, it would be truly consistent. So kind of looking down my wish list of what this thing would do before I actually, you know, I knew I needed something. I just kind of wanted to bottle what it would be, and kind of this is the list that I sort of came up with. So, you know, I needed a fountain of unlimited content, if you like. I needed a method whereby I could create content that people would absolutely love, that they would share with other people, and I'd get recognition from that. It'd be the absolute, you know, the most viral stuff out there, and it needs to be unlimited. So that was the first thing, which, by the way, is quite a tall order in its own right, but we have got that nailed. It needed to be multiple channels. So, you know, obviously LinkedIn, I'm all over LinkedIn. I'm all over Twitter. I'm a bit on Facebook. Not so much on Google+, I'll be honest. And it's that whole, you kind of get stuck doing the stuff that you're doing. So I know I'm not reaching people on Google Plus like I should be, and I'm not reaching people on Facebook like I should be, which is just stupid. you know, there's people there just waiting to buy my stuff. So it needed to be that multiple channel. As with any tool, any automation tool in social media, it needs to look human. There's a blog on there's a post I wrote on my blog about why I hate your social media robot, which I find quite funny because it always gets shared when another one of my robots shares it on Twitter. So that's it just amuses me. But anyway, the point of that post is it's no good automating your social media if it just looks like you bought a robot and it's doing it. It's got to still look human. It's got to look like it's you there actually doing it. So, you know, the guys that have subscribed to Hootsuite, I mean, it's kind of a bit ridiculous because you schedule all this stuff up in Hootsuite, and there it is in black and white on every single tweet that you do or every single post that's been posted by Hootsuite. I mean, you might as well just put up a big sign saying, I got my robot to do this, I'm busy doing something else. So I needed it to look human as well. So I needed randomization in there. I needed it to look like it was being posted from the web or from a mobile. It's quite important that element of genuine looking content is there because the engagement just goes through the roof when you've got that. And obviously, you know, it needed to be totally consistent. I literally want this thing to sit there, where it will come rain or shine, come family crisis, come whatever is going on in my life, and sit there diligently posting away to all those networks and doing all that cool stuff for me. I wanted fine grain control, and obviously it's got to be completely automatic. I literally wanted set and forget solution, which is a bit of a cliche, but that's exactly what I've made. So I could not find a piece of software on the market that would do all this stuff. And you know, I mean, I get sent software all the time to review, and you know, I make myself busy knowing what software is out there anyway. And literally, there is nothing that would do all this stuff. So obviously, the only option left, that being the case, was for us to develop it. So that is exactly what we've done. So I'm just going to get rid of this thing, and let's just bring the software in now. And that's kind of enough of an explanation. Let me pull that back out. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, you know, there was a lot to do with this. So like I said, genuinely, there is an awful lot of development time gone into creating this application, which, you know, is fairly compact, but is just, I mean, it's so powerful. Even in the alpha and beta testing that I've been doing, you know, I've been getting crazy engagement. I've been getting people, I mean, and ironically, I've been getting a lot of engagement on Facebook and Google+, which, as I've said, I'm not that focused on, generally speaking, when I'm doing stuff manually. So it's been great to see that there's extra channels that I wouldn't normally kind of be doing much with. I have been. So I'm just going to walk you through the software anyway. I'll bring you into the first tab. What we've kind of built into here is it's just the ability to easily handle multiple profiles, which, you know, obviously is really important, particularly if you're going to be doing this for clients. And by the way, you can charge seriously good money for doing this. When I walk through exactly what it's doing on the posting side of things, those of you that are in that kind of offline social media consultancy kind of world, you know, you're going to know straight away. I know for a fact social media consultants who are charging to do this and using Hootsuite, granted they've got to load it all up, but they are charging here in the UK close to £1,000 sterling per month as a retainer to do this. So that's what, $1,600 US, and literally they will be able to replace that entire service just using this tool. So the profile manager is there for exactly that reason. You know, you've got the different networks in there. LinkedIn, Google+, Facebook, and Twitter is included in the software, and that is on both. There is a basic version as well of the software, which I'll get to in a minute. But either way, it includes all 4 channels, so you've got that multiple channel reach. You know, you just go through, you put your details in here. I'll do that really quickly. You put your password in, and this last field, for those of you that are not familiar with how proxies work, it's something that, you know, you need to get to grips with pretty quickly if you're looking to become a successful social media marketer. And you know, maybe that's something I'll go into another day, but it gives you that ability to handle lots and lots of exposure, lots of coverage without, you know, upsetting the networks and causing problems and all kinds of things. It's kind of like a basic thing that you need to be aware of. So that being the case, I've built that into the software for you. So quite simply, you can't, it's an optional field, but if you fill that up with a proxy, which would usually be in the form of an IP address, so you'd have your 4 different little clusters of numbers there, and you'd put a colon in, and it's usually a port 80 or whatever port that the proxy provider is giving you to handle that. What that basically means is, instead of all the calls to LinkedIn being done from my computer directly and the internet connection I've got, it'll route off to another computer somewhere else in the world and then send the request in from that. So effectively covering where the originating call, you know, where all that action's coming from. So it's a very handy feature. And finally, you can enable or disable at will. So you've got the ability to manage multiple accounts in there, and very quickly as well, you can load and save these whole profile things. So if you are working with clients, I mean, literally, you can have a profile file for every single client. So, you know, at a click of a button, you can load up all that information, save you typing it in every time. So I'm just going to find one of my folders now. There we go. Oh, there we go. And it's loaded up on my data. I haven't got any proxies enabled. I'll leave them off for this demo. So that's pretty cool. That opens up some doors for the guys that are doing offline. I mean, if you're just going to use this for yourself, you maybe don't need to worry about this so much. It's always handy to have that backup though if you need it. Once you've got all the account information in there for the networks that you actually want to work with, we get into the really kind of meaty stuff, and that's in the campaign manager. So if I just load this up, once that interface loads up, now I mentioned in the presentation that I wanted to have fine-grained control. So there's a lot of tick boxes and things going on in here, and that's very purposeful because you know, certainly those social media hippies out there that you know, tell you that you shouldn't be posting the same stuff to the same networks and it should all be different until, you know, to a point, they're kind of right, and certainly some stuff you're not going to want posting to some of the channels potentially, depending on what it is you're advertising and what kind of stuff that you're doing. So effectively, I've broken it down. So for all the different stuff that this app can post, you can either turn it off or on, depending on the network that you're actually looking at and targeting. So what I'll do is, I'm going to work through each one of these columns because they're kind of the main things that you're going to be able to post. So the first thing is the auto memes thing. So I'm going to turn that on for LinkedIn, and it's just a checkbox. I give that a click, and effectively the software will, when I boot it up and get it running, it would start posting memes out to the LinkedIn network by way of a photograph. And actually what we've done is we've kind of really gone out there with this whole thing, because some of you may remember, some of you may have bought a product from us around the holiday time called MemeDog. And MemeDog, I mean, that was such a popular and fun little piece of software, because effectively what it would do is generate these kind of viral memes by the 100 if you wanted it to, and just spit them all out into a folder, and then you could choose what you wanted to post up to the network. And you know, some of them were a little bit quirky, some of the quotes were a little bit off, some of the images were a bit crazy, and but on the most part, you'd run the thing and you'd get a whole load of memes that were really cool, and you could go off and post them wherever you wanted to. What we did was just looking at some of the usage data we got from our own testing and seeing how those memes were being shared on the various networks. What we've actually been able to do is take all that data and kind of distill that to a point where we've kind of got the most powerful and potent combination of quotations and images and the whole thing, and really tidied that up and polished that up to make sure that literally every single meme that it generates is absolutely on the money. That they are really good quality. I mean, I've been amazed myself as I've been testing this. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull in a folder that's just to give you a few examples of some of the memes that it's been generating. I probably should. I've gone through hundreds of these while so we've been testing this, but you'll see. I mean, they are just absolutely stunning. You know, they're pieces of artwork, and they're very shareable, which is obviously the thing that we want. So I'm just going to bring this folder in, and there's just a handful of them. And I haven't purposefully gone out and picked these because they're amazing. These are literally just randomly stuff that's ended up in this folder that I noticed earlier. And you'll see, I mean, all of the images are very stunning images. They're good quotes in a variety of different niches. I think we've got about 25 categories, the most popular 25 categories in there. There might be a few more than that. Don't quote me, it's around that. There's plenty. But they're all, you know, as you can see, very stunning images. And what we found is that these, particularly these very scenic images, people just like to share that stuff. They really do. Couple that with a quote that's kind of quite poignant or whatever about, you know, something, whatever it is, age attacks when we least expect it. You know, people click that stuff. It's just so easy to share. It's, you know, it's a really great way of communicating. I actually shared this. I'll pull it up shortly. I don't know whether it was the pink flowers or the quote, but I shared this on LinkedIn, and the whole world seemed to go mad for it. But it was primarily women that were sharing it. So it could be the pink flowers, but either way, I don't care because it got shared like loads, which was cool because I put a little advert alongside it as well. So effectively, if auto meme, let's get back to the software. If auto meme's enabled, what the software is going to do is randomly, it's going to be unique every time it does it. It's going to create one of these viral memes based on, we've got a couple of categories down here, so you can actually set a couple of things. And what it'll do is it'll randomly pick from one of those categories, and it'll post it to LinkedIn or Google Posts or Facebook or Twitter. So that by itself is very, very, very cool. You know, that will boost engagement no end because, again, obviously, we'll get onto the scheduling stuff, but effectively it's all on autopilot. It can do it completely automatically for you. And it's quite amusing sometimes. You know, I'll be wandering around and I leave all my notifications onto my mobile phone. You know, people for all the social networks, when somebody likes something or favorites it or shares it or whatever, I get little notifications come through, and there's nothing more satisfying, I guess, when you create a piece of software like this than getting a notification that someone's sharing your stuff somewhere, and you're like kind of out doing something completely unrelated to it. You know the things sat there working in the background, and I'm not having to pay it an hourly rate or anything like that, which is even better. So that's what I mean. So that by itself is pretty cool, but it's all well and good, and you know, again, for the social media hippies out there that just want to like share stuff and engage with people, and it all be really, you know, rose-tinted glasses, love and peace, man. That's cool and that's fine, and there is actually a place for that, but you've got to be able to advertise your product or you're never going to sell anything. So what I've built into this is the ability to actually pull an image from a folder that you set as well. So if I tick local images, and down here in the local image folder setting, I can pull that up, and that just lets me browse to any folder that I would like. I can set a folder to do that, and actually we'll get to this. There is an OTO for those guys who need it, but I'm just going to show you this very quickly. The sort of things that you've got the potential to add into here. Let me just get into my folder. There it is, Social Post Magic. Okay. Okay, perfect. So for example, you know, we've got, if I just pull these in, I could effectively click that button for local image folder. I could set it to be this folder, which is just a folder on my computer. It's actually in my Dropbox. And if you click on that, what we've got is, you know, a really nice looking infographic. Which again are massively, people love sharing infographics. It's ridiculous. You know, they just feel like they're educating the world or something, I suppose. But you know, it's a good thing to be sharing. The very, very shareable images, they're all sat in there. So effectively, I could set that folder as my local images folder, and what the software will do is just randomly go to that folder and just select one from it. There's no real pattern to it. It could, you know, it'll select random ones all the time, which is great if you're going to leave this running for a long time, because what it'll do is just, again, that randomization element. And to randomize it even further and make it look more and more human, if you've got memes and you've got images set up, it won't just do it in a round robin, so you get an equal number of memes and an equal number of images. It'll randomly do that, so it might do a couple of memes and then it'll post an image, or it might do a couple of images and it'll post them. There's literally no footprint to it. It just keeps going around completely random, just like a human would. Just like if I was sat here and I thought, I know, I'm going to post up one of my SEO infographics, I'd just randomly pick, I wouldn't sit there for hours thinking, I'd just pick one that looked nice and I'd post it. The other thing that I could put in there as well, of course, is something a little bit more call to action-ified. So, looking at some more of these, increase your traffics and get ranked on the front page. For any of those guys in the search engine optimization world, I mean, it's just free advertising. It's just set the thing up, get it going, and it's going to randomly pull these out, and that's going to be great. And again, they're very shareable, they're eye-catching, they're going to stand out. They're going to stand out really well in Facebook, they're going to stand out really well in Google+, and also Twitter and LinkedIn. I mean, I am starting to see more people starting to share images on LinkedIn, but it's still way behind the curve compared to some of the other networks. I mean, when you think Instagram's completely fueled by images, so you've got the opportunity to get advertising with the images already, but to further enhance that, because of course with all these networks you can post text as well and you can post links, and that's an important thing if you're promoting a website or a web page or any kind of squeeze page, or even cross networks. So you might want to promote your Facebook page on LinkedIn or your Google Plus page on Twitter or whatever. If you need to do that kind of cross-pollinating, you're going to need the ability to post some text up with it as well. So if I go ahead and click text add, that's now going to allow me to actually attach some text, which can include a link along with my meme or my image. So it's randomly going to pull a meme or an image, what could be one or the other. If I've got text ads ticked, it's also going to post for me a text ad, and by that could, I mean, it's effectively any text. And to make it super easy for everybody to use, and getting I know people sometimes struggle with spin tags and all that kind of thing. Effectively, what we've done is made it work exactly the same as the images thing. So you can just have a folder, fill it up with little Notepad files, little text files from Notepad. I'm just going to pull one of the examples in here. So here's one for you. Again, in the search and optimization industry. And you could just, I mean, there could be 1,000 in here, there could be one. It doesn't really matter. It's going to randomly go in and keep picking these out as it goes. So straight in there, you click on that. It's a well-written, nicely put together little advert. Our search engine optimization services are designed to blah 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 blah. You can go in there and attach your link to that. If you post that onto Facebook or onto Google Plus or onto any of the networks, it's going to convert that link. People are going to see the image, go, wow, that's a cool image, I want to share that. They're also going to share the text that goes with it as well. So not only are you getting viral images, but you're going to get viral advertising as well. And again, remember, this is all on autopilot. You're not having to sit there and keep posting this stuff out. The final thing that it can do, just to really extend the reach as far as it can do, and again, this is something I have to admit that I know I need to do it, I know it's important, but sometimes if I'm in a rush I kind of forget to do that, and that is to add appropriate hashtags to my posts. So if I go ahead and tick hashtag as well, it's going to randomly post either a meme or an image, it's going to attach the text ad for me as well, and what it's also going to do is create a hashtag to go with the post, which again, I've just set it from this little button down here. If I load that file up, that'll let me load it up just to bring you one of those files in, just so you can. It's literally all it is, a text file that's just full of one per line, words that could be used as a hashtag. Let me get you an example of that so you can see exactly the sort of thing I'm talking about. There we go. Okay. So I mean, I've just filled this up. These are actually categories for the memes that it creates, but I just was doing some testing. So as you can see, it's just a bog standard text file, and there's all that stuff in there. So if you could, for me, I'd be targeting words like business, marketing, software, social media marketing, all those things, because what happens? People search by hashtag. That's a way of allowing people to find content. So if I start tagging things as business, as marketing, stuff like that, and I'm trying to sell a local marketing service or a social media consultancy or any of that kind of stuff, that offline stuff, it's going to start showing up. So all of a sudden, my very, very shareable image with its cool little advert and link to my web page, is going to start showing up in searches for people looking for stuff that are in my target audience, you know, let alone just my actual people that are following me or have liked me or, you know, whatever, whichever network it's on and how, you know, whether it's a connection or whatever. So you're going to get the maximum possible reach for the most shareable content that you can get. So very, very, very cool in terms of the stuff that you can be posting with this. Very cool indeed. Now, again, what I needed was I needed the consistency, I needed humanization, and I needed it to be completely on autopilot. So we've added some extra stuff in here to handle all that as well. The first thing being a maximum per day. Now, just to break off from this very quickly, as I said, there is going to be a light version available to people because you know, I know some people don't need this whole kind of scheduling stuff going on. They're just going to use it for their own things. They're going to use it once every now and again as part of what they're doing already, and that's totally cool. And you know, we wanted to make the software a little bit cheaper for those people that just want to do that and don't need all the other whistles and bells. So effectively, the light version doesn't include these features I'm about to talk about. It does the meme stuff, it does the image stuff, it does the text ad and the hashtag stuff. It doesn't do this stuff I'm about to go on about. So just to kind of put that out there. The first thing then is the maximum per day. What you don't want to do, or what I would highly recommend you don't do, is just kind of flood your timeline, your circles, your connections, whatever, your Twitter with, you know, hundreds and hundreds of these. People will start unfollowing you. You're going to lose your audience doing that. You know, you're just going to bore people to death. Being realistic, I mean, personally on my accounts, most of my reach, I've probably got, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 Twitter followers on my main Twitter account that I actually is me. Similar sort of levels on all the other networks. For me, I'd probably be posting between 5 or 10 a day of this kind of thing. That would be totally acceptable because I'm going to do some manual stuff as well. As you know, if I see something funny, I'm going to photograph it and post it to my Facebook. If I find an interesting article, I might want to share that on LinkedIn, and so on. It doesn't stop me doing the stuff that I would naturally do, but what it does do is give me that level of consistency to know that the engaging stuff and the marketing stuff is going out as it should be all the time, whether I'm doing it or not. So I can set a maximum per day in here. It could be just one if you want to be like kind of really minimalist. I deliberately have throttled this at 25 because, frankly, if you're flooding your timelines with more than 25 a day, I'm probably going to want to unfollow you because you're just going to be doing everybody's head in. I mean, if for some bizarre reason you really feel the need to be doing more than that, don't tell anybody I told you, but effectively you could run 2 instances of the software and you could multiply those up. But I mean, genuinely, if you value the account that you're using, and you know, it's not just a case of spamming people with adverts or something. A max 25 a day is more than enough to be doing that. But again, you know, we're just trying to build stuff into this software for you guys. I know there are, you know, kind of shady people out there that are going to want to use this kind of thing to spam people, and they'll always find a way to do that anyway. But for those of us that are reasonably ethical marketers, you know, I do try and build some stuff in here so you don't get, you know, too carried away and don't risk upsetting everybody that you're connected to. So I'm just going to set that down on here to something sensible like 5. The minimum delay, again, what you don't want to do is just blare out all your advertising in one go because, you know, once you get up to quite a few connections or quite a few followers or your friends or whatever, you know, it's a big timeline, it's a busy place, this social media, there's stuff going on all the time, and the fact of the matter is when you put a post or a tweet or anything out, you know, it's just being in the right place at the right time. Somebody may or may not see it, and it might just disappear into kind of the ether and be forgotten about forever and just kind of live in your archive. So it's not advisable to just kind of blare everything out in one go. So what I've built into it is the ability to add a delay in between posting, and that's in minutes, and it's, you know, it's you can, if you want to shoot them straight out, you can do. If you only want a short delay, you can do. I mean, if you're only posting one at a time, obviously there's no point in setting a delay anyway. But you know, that can go right up to quite some hours. Again, I mean, I tend to have mine set around about the hour-and-a-half mark because, you know, it just means that as people come and go on the social media, and you know, I deal with people every day I'm talking to people in at least 5 or 6 different time zones, so to reach all those people can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. So this just allows me to stretch that out over the course of the day. And again, just to keep the randomization in there, it doesn't rigidly stick to that delay. What it will do is it'll pick a number around that. That's the minimum time that it'll wait to post, but then it might wait a little bit longer. It might not. It might wait a lot longer. Generally speaking, it will be within kind of 10 or 15% of the delay that you've set. So in this instance, if I've set 90 minutes, it might wait a maximum of like 100 minutes, something like that. It'll be a random number in there. It'll be around the same time, but never exactly the same time. And again, from a humanization point of view, we're not that regular as humans. Robots are. They would do it on the minute every time if I told it to. I don't want it to look like a robot. I want that variation in there all the time, and that's what the minimum delay allows me to do. So we can set the meme categories. All that stuff's just related to that. I think we've covered that. The final bit on the scheduling, again, it's pretty straightforward. You can just set the days of the week that you actually want the thing to post. So if you want it every single day, you just tick all the boxes. And a lot of people, particularly business people, tend not to post as much on a Saturday. They sometimes post on a Monday, sorry, on a Sunday, but maybe not on a Saturday. So you might just want to disable Saturday. You might have a client that says, I want, 10 posts per day doing Monday to Friday. I mean, speaking to some of my colleagues in the social media industry, I know they actually sell their packages on that basis. We will post for you Monday to Friday, and we will do 10 posts per day. That is X amount per month. If you want us to post on the weekends, that's more money because somebody's got to do that. Obviously, if they've got a copy of Social Post Magic Pro, then they can just go out at the weekend and let the software sit there and do that for them, which I suspect some of them will start doing very, very shortly. And finally, on the scheduling side of things, you might just want to throttle what times the thing actually does the posting. And again, very few people you'll find posting on social media, themselves manually 24 hours a day. Most people have to sleep at least at some point, although I don't think I've slept much this last couple of weeks making this thing, but anyway. This allows you to set that exact thing. So for me, I'd usually start posting around 7 AM, something like that, if I'm doing it manually. I'll probably stop, I don't know, it's getting late here in the UK already. I normally wouldn't be posting much after kind of 9 PM in the evening. So if I leave that set like that, it's going to, again, randomly post at random times with random delays, but it is always going to be within those times, which you do need to have some constraints on there if you want them. And that's it. So there's obviously quite a lot to set up in there. It's all fine-grained on each of the networks. So to that end, you do have the ability to go out and actually save these campaigns. So if you've got, this could be client 1. Okay, we'll save that. And they only want. I do need to change my sound thing. For some reason, it's gone all nautical. You might have just sold a LinkedIn package to somebody, or you might just want to use LinkedIn. You could save that as that. I might want memes posting on all 4 networks. Again, I could save that. That could be client 2, and I can have a whole load of these in here. And whenever I want, I'll just save that one out. I can just go straight back in, and I can load client 1 back in, and he's there. The beauty of that as well, obviously, if you have got multiple clients with multiple packages, you could save these campaign files as whatever the packages that you want to do, and then you could just go over and obviously load up the client that you wanted to work for, or the business that you're promoting, or whatever it is. Load that up in there, flick back to the campaign manager, and look, off you go. You just click run. So once that's done, it is just a case of clicking run. The thing boots up. You get a nice little status message down here. There we go. I'm outside my posting schedule because I've set that wrong. It's not quite 9 AM here, but you get the idea. So you constantly get updated in here. As a lot, it obviously spends most of its time waiting on a daily campaign, and it'll just keep that doing it. So once you're happy with that, once it's running, once it's waiting, I can just minimize that off and go and do something useful or fun, better still. So there we go, guys. It does quite a bit. I hope I haven't dragged that out too long, but there's so much to go through. What do you think?
Well, while you were doing
still
all
with
of
us,
that, so Mike, Glory, did you get all my texts on Skype? Because I was like, everything I heard, I was like firing off texts to your phone. I mean, I'm just like, I've got notes all over the place. I've just probably loaded up Gloria's phone with God knows how many texts and Skypes, and I'm like, you know, dude. I mean, I'm like, you know, this is crazy.
Well, there's no excuses for not posting anymore, is there? That's one thing.
Well, we all have exactly the same problem. I mean, my profile engagement, like on LinkedIn, looks like a sine wave because, you know, you get into the groove and then you get busy and, you know, then it goes down. So got a lot of people saying it looks really, really cool.
It is.
Honestly, it's a bit. See, I cook in our house, and the reason I cook is I really like my own food. And the thing I always say is, I really hope everybody enjoys my food when they come round and I cook for them. But really, I don't care because I really like my own food anyway, so I'm happy. And I'm exactly the same with my software this time because I just really needed all of these features myself, and it kind of does it. So I hope, like mad, everybody else finds it really useful. But even if you don't, I've kind of won already because it's just such a useful little thing.
Oh, it's an amazing piece of software. Guys, we got tons of really great questions, but I'm sure everybody's wondering, how much is it? How do you buy it? Et cetera, et cetera. So let's go over that part, okay? And then we will be here for all the Q&A that you need. Mike, I'm going to make myself the presenter.
Okay.
And so I can show people what to do, where to go, et cetera, et cetera. And so can everybody see my screen?
I'm
Please register below for Wednesday's walkthrough. Okay, cool. So guys, to buy this, now I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. Total transparency here, but to buy this, we have a bit.ly link. So if you will say bit.ly, bit.ly/social post magic, and I'm going to pop that in the chat. And Gloria and Mike, if you could just pop that in as people ask for it. That should be clickable to everybody. Now, when you put that into your browser, you're going to go to this page right here. All right? And there's not much on this page because, as we always do for you guys, our peeps, is we do a webinar for you, we showcase everything, and you know, then just go from there. We will have the webinar replay right up here. But right now, if you want to buy this, you can buy the basic version or the pro version. Now, just a little caveat. If you're not sure of the difference between the basic and the pro, just hold the phone a minute because I want to make sure everybody understands that because there's a huge difference between the two. Don't buy the basic until you're really sure you want the basic as opposed to the pro. Eric, I'm going to put the link in here for you. Hang on just a sec. And everybody should be able to see that also. Now, that will get you the software. It works exactly the way all of our other software does. You will get an email sent to you with a login to our members area. You will get a separate license. You know, JVZoo does allow you to have a different delivery email address from your payment email address. So every now and then y'all will hit me up and say, well, Lee, I didn't get the license, or I bought this and, you know, can't find it, et cetera, et cetera. That's the reason for that. Don't worry about it. Just, you know, pop it in support. We'll put it all under one account for you. And Raymond, hang on, we'll get that on Q&A. We'll put it all on one account for you and you'll be good to go. Now, once you buy this, if you want, I think Mike alluded to this, of course, you're posting content, right? I mean, this is the deal. We're putting content out on all these social media services. If you buy basic, you can just click the button and it posts it. If you buy pro, you've got the scheduler, which, you know, does the posting for you. So, and you can find your content, and I would encourage you to go find content related to your specific thing that you're selling or whatever you got for your clients that you're working for, et cetera, et cetera. However, if you want to hit the ground running, we've got done for you content which is in exactly the right format for this. So, hang on, Eric. Thank you so much. So, if you want to get our content system, then it's just plug and play. You've got the content that will get you rolling with this. Let me explain to you what you're going to get. And Gloria, you added a ton of stuff to this without telling me, by the way. So
I did.
The sales letter here
I
does
added
not
a bunch of
reflect.
bonus.
I mean, she said, Lee, by the way, I decided to add all these bonuses. And I said, like what? And she's like saying hundreds of things. So, Gloria, let me go over what I've got here, and then you can tell us about the extra bonuses. Graphics. So we've got marketing graphics in all of the hot offline niches, plus a general marketing niche. So you can use this. I've got a walkthrough of the members area here. Now, actually, I'm going to walk you through myself the members area on another browser in a second. Where is my other thing? Gloria, you want to walk us through this? Oh, I tell you what, let's do this. So, world's worst sales pitch, right? Hang on, let's just do it like this. We're just so excited about the software. We are not worried about the details. This is my test account for Social Post Magic. So once you log in, and y'all are familiar with this, you'll see all your purchases over here. Now let's walk through and see exactly what you get. You get image advertisements. Okay, so those are your graphics. You get done for you posts right here. Now notice these are per niche. Okay, so we have general marketing, pay-per-click, SEO, social media, video marketing, and web design. You get curated YouTube content. YouTube videos are really, really hot. You know, guys, we read an article recently about the importance of posting videos on Facebook as opposed to text and graphic stuff. It is seeing a surge in popularity. So you'll want to take advantage of this. Now, these are curated YouTube videos. This stuff is stuff that we created. Mm-hmm. And then we have these bonuses. You want to tell us about, it says bonus infographics. You want to, these are more infographics. So, Gloria, what else do we have in here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we've got the infographics, and as you know, infographics are a little bit complex to create, but we created about, I want to say 16 or 20 infographics that you can share, and they get shared quite a bit. And then in addition to that, we went ahead and we curated content in the form of articles, really good articles in the different niches, and it's all set up. So all you have to do is point the software to it. It's formatted the way it needs to be. It's already in the text files the way the software reads it. So it literally, the only thing you have to do is just point the software to these folders, and then it'll go ahead and then it'll post them for you.
Yeah, so it truly is done for you. And really for, I mean, if you're in a different niche, okay, then this may not be for you. But if you're in one of these offline niches, this is enough content, if you buy the Pro version, for you to just run this thing over and over and over again. And because of the randomization, the humanization of it, and the fact that it does this on autopilot, this thing can just run and you'll never have to touch it. So that is the done-for-you content. Now, one more thing, and personally me, I mean, I know this is our product and all this stuff, but honestly, this next thing is like the thing that I am personally, besides the software, most excited about. We've been trying to get Mike, y'all probably know Mike is a really good programmer, but you may not know that he is a total ninja when it comes to a lot of cool stuff about internet marketing. And we've been trying to twist his arm, and he's been refusing politely for ever so long. We've been trying to twist his arm to reveal some of this stuff because we can see how incredibly cool it is. And we finally, probably Mike a little reluctantly, I think, we finally got him to agree to teach a class on some really, really cool stuff. We call this our Social Post Magic Book of Secrets. And I say in the video, if you listen to the video, I mean, seriously, this is not for everybody. It is not illegal. Not. It is not black hat. It is really hardly gray hat, but it is pushing the envelope a little bit. And I'm going to explain to you exactly what you're going to learn. If you're like what Mike calls a social media hippie and you're totally squeamish and you really, really worried in second grade about coloring inside the lines, it may not be for you, seriously. Now, I'm just being honest. You know, this may not be something you want to pick up. But if you really want to learn how this business is really done, okay, then this is training that you'll definitely want. Let's look at what you're going to learn. Mike's Insider Secrets, specifically. How to properly create and use multiple social accounts. There's a lot of little nuances about that. How to use proxies and which type of proxies to use. It's not that hard, but it's kind of big, bad, and scary when you've never done that. How to create and use avatar profiles, and in case, that's my polite way of saying fake profiles, okay? So how to create and use those avatar profiles, and most importantly, how not to leave a footprint, how not to leave a little, cookie crumb, track so that everything you do is just obviously done by you, done by one person instead of various profiles. And again, if you're really squeamish and you, like I just use the analogy, if you spill your ice cream and that's the end of the world, it may not be for you, seriously, and that's okay. This is going to be delivered to you via webinar. The webinar is going to last approximately 2 hours, is my guess. It may be more. The webinar is March the 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I know not everybody can be there. It will be recorded, unless, of course, there's a technical snafu, which rarely happens. But $17 is the price on that. So let's go over all of this. Decide if you're interested, number one. But if you're still in the webinar, I'm guessing you're interested. Decide if you're going to get basic or pro. If you're unsure about the difference, ask us first. Decide if you want the content. By the way, the content was $21. Decide if you want the content that goes with the software, or you can just do your own content. That's totally cool. And decide if you want to learn the ninja stuff. I mean, honestly, I'm going to be sitting here like, a kid with like a giant notepad in front of me because I can't wait to hear what Mike has to say about these things. So that is exactly what is involved here. Mike, I'll just pop that in there for you. Hold on one second, folks.
Yeah, I think the big thing with the training, which is huge, is, we really believe in exploiting social media for financial gain. Bottom line, it's a tool. And I think people are sometimes afraid of that, and so we kind of want to break that cycle for people or help people work through that, and that's what that training's all about. So it's going to be huge.
Yeah, and again, there's nothing nefarious or weird or something that you can't tell your friends about at all. I mean, honestly, this is the way people do this. So, but again, I'm saying in all honesty, it may or may not be for you, and that's totally cool. You just got to decide, and we're here to help you. But seriously, people that are actually, Mike just says he just bought all three. Mike, I knew you were going to be especially interested in the Book of Secrets. I knew that would just be right up your alley. But yeah, so decide whether you're interested. I'm going to put a counter. We have been so busy putting this together. I'll have a counter. This will be a 72-hour sale. And I know I've got tons of questions floating through the box, guys. I'm not ignoring you. I'm going to get to you in a second. what is today? Wednesday to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you want to say Saturday, midnight Eastern time. You know, you'll be able to buy at this price, and buy these other things at these fixed prices. Usually when we offer this to the public, we move some of this stuff around, up some of the prices, or keep the price the same and take out some of the stuff. You always get more value when you buy from us than, you know, the average person on the internet. Cool. So let's go through questions. Well, let's just start with Larry, because Larry has got some great questions here. Mike, you're going to have to help me out with this.
Yeah, shoot.
Larry wants to know, can you set up multiple LinkedIn, Twitter accounts for it to serve to like separate campaigns for separate clients? And will it print? Okay, that's Larry's first question. He's got three. Let's start with that one. Are you still there?
Sorry, say that. Yeah, I'm here. Say that again.
Excuse me, folks. I'm choking. Hold on a sec. Sorry. So Larry's got three questions. His first question is the following: can you set up multiple LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. accounts, so multiple accounts for those social media platforms, for it to serve to like separate campaigns for separate clients? So let's say you have a dentist client, and let's say you have a car wash client. Could you run this with the dentist client and run this with the car wash client?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as doing it for multiple clients, then that's totally cool. If you're going to be doing it for a lot, then you're going to need to start thinking about the whole proxy side of things. So, you know, it might well be that the little webinar that we're going to do that kind of explains some of that stuff might be helpful. The only reason being, if any of the networks see loads of connections coming in to multiple accounts from one IP address, i.e. your computer, they might start to get a little bit worried and, you know, start imposing various security measures and stuff like that. They'll just lock the accounts down. But yeah, I mean, that's totally cool. I mean, on the subject of running multiple accounts for yourself, I guess, I mean, that's certainly something I'm going to cover in fair detail on the webinar. I mean, the short answer is Twitter hasn't got a problem with it directly, so you can do that all day long. The other networks, you need to be a little bit more sophisticated in what you do with that. But yeah, I mean, the short answer is yes to that question.
Cool. Larry's got another very good question. Will it print the same picture / text multiple times to the same account to avoid reposting the same content too many times to the same account? I'm not entirely understanding this. I think Larry's wondering, is there going to be an issue with reposting the same content over and over and over again to the same account?
Right, okay. First up, on the meme thing, on the automatic meme creation, the odds of it posting the same one of them to the same account are about 1 in 24 million or something like that. So you've got more chance of winning the lottery, and at which point you're probably not going to be bothered about your social media anymore. In terms of the local images and the text adverts, actually that's exactly what you need it to be doing to get some traction with it, because the fact is, unless you've only got one follower that has no followers of themselves, the likelihood of people seeing those messages, you know, over and over again are very, very slim, because people just don't look at the timelines that often. Even people that, like, you know, create Twitter lists and profile everything and try and put it in little neat boxes, and I mean, God knows how they have the time to do that, but I know some people do. Even then, if you've any volume of following, you're just not going to see that stuff very often. So it's kind of quite important that it's the whole consistency thing. You actually need to be posting it out. Now, that said, you couldn't leave it. You wouldn't want to do that, you know, forever and ever and ever. I mean, it would be prudent probably on a monthly basis to just sit there and kind of spruce up some of the adverts, make sure that the stuff that you're saying is still relevant. You know, throw out some of the old stuff. Just do a little bit of housekeeping. I mean, I've done this with Twitter now for years, and actually, I mean, on my main my main Twitter account that's related to my own personal blog. I mean, I very rarely tweet. The only time I tweet manually on it, if I'm completely honest, is if I've bought something off a company and I'm upset, so I start ranting because I know they'll pay attention because I've got loads and loads of followers. So that's the only time I actually go on there and, you know, complain about GoDaddy or whatever. The rest of it is pre-scheduled stuff that goes out via my robot, and it's literally, as I add posts to my blog, I just schedule them up in there. So there's, you know, I know for a fact that there are little tweets going out relating to blog posts that I published over a year ago, and guess what? They get traffic every time those tweets go out. So, you know, and that's a year on, and it's just because, you know, I've got new followers that have never seen it. You know, you've got to be busy building your networks and all that stuff as well, which is kind of a whole other subject. But you know, the bottom line is, yes, by all means, you know, use that content. It needs to be your RPM, your regular promotional message. And, you know, once you start posting that, you'll be surprised how many leads or how many, you know, hits to your website or whatever it is you're trying to promote. You'll be surprised how much that goes up, and you'll just be like, God, I can't believe I wasn't doing this before now, because it's just such an obvious thing. I think people get frightened for exactly that reason, that they don't want to appear to be saying the same things over and over again. But, you know, no, but it's such a small percentage that sees it. You won't appear that you're doing that anyway. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that was a great answer, and I will second that, because I see that myself a lot. So, you know, worrying about the same people seeing stuff over and over again, I mean, the chances of any one, look, unless you have like 2 Twitter followers, okay? Now, if you got 2 Twitter followers, you know, that's not what we're talking about. But if you're normal, yeah, but if you're a normal person, you know, you got more than that. And especially if you're putting out this content, you're going to grow your Twitter followers and LinkedIn connections and all that. But yeah, the chances on any given day of, you know, the same person seeing the same thing all the time, I mean, it's just statistically not really going to happen. So, and if it did happen, big deal. What Mike said about the regular posting, I mean, just hand on a stack of Bibles, that's where it's at with social media. It's the regularity. And that's the thing that even for us, you know, we sit here in front of a computer 14 hours a day running businesses, and it is really hard for us to do that. So it's the regular posting where the deal is. If somebody happens to see the same thing twice, are they really going to remember it? Are they going to hate me because they saw the same thing from Lee twice? I really don't think so. Lawrence has a great question, Mike. Let's go over the difference between basic and pro.
Okay. What might be easiest to do here? Do you just want to give me the screen back for just 1 minute, Lee? And what I'll do is I'll just bring up the interface for. I've actually.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I can't have them installed on parallel on this one system. So what I'll do is I'll just pull up the interface graphics that we've used.
Okay, I just gave you the
yeah, that's cool.
control.
Okay, so if I pull this in, so that was the interface for the campaign. The profile manager is the same on both. It's just a means of loading multiple account files and proxies with a couple of clicks. So that doesn't change on either. And obviously that's the bit that I've just demoed, or that was part of the artwork that we did to make that thing. For the basic version, if I just pull that up, you'll have to bear with me because obviously some of the actual tick boxes are missing on these things, but effectively you'll see that the last 2 columns are missing, which was the maximum per day and the minimum delay column, and also all the stuff down here for the days per week and the post between are missing as well, because it's just irrelevant. Effectively, it does the memes, it does the images, it does the text ads, and it does the hashtags. You can configure all that stuff, and you can save and load that as well. The buttons are just missing off this background graphic, but effectively you just click run, and it goes off and does, and it posts to each of it. So it'll do 4 posts. If you've got all 4 networks enabled, it'll do 4 posts, 1 to each network, and then it'll just kind of sit there and wait, and it won't do anything else. So if you want to post something else later on in the day, that's fine. You just need to come back and manually click the run button, and you just do that on an individual basis. So I mean, it's ideal if you are, you're spending all day on your social media anyway, and this is just kind of another little cool way to post some, engaging content out. Then it'll be fine. That's all you need. If you want to literally set it up, click the old minimize button and forget about it, and just get that little warm feeling that I get every time I get a notification say somebody's retweeted me or liked my post, that my thing's just done for me. Or better still, when I get an inquiry come into my inbox saying, "Hey Mike, I just saw your tweet and I'm really interested in buying your thing," then you are going to need the Pro version to have that whole kind of set and forget functionality. But so that's it. That's the only difference really.
Very cool. I'm just answering a few people's questions. Bob says he just bought Social Media Magic Pro and the content, but wasn't redirected to the webinar. I'm really not sure why that's happening, Bob, but if that happens to you guys, let me know, because the webinar is super cool, and I'll just put in the link directly to that page. So there you go, Bob. So Lawrence, hopefully that's answering your question. Eric, this works on Windows. If you want to run it on a Mac, you'd have to have something like Parallels to do that. Mark wants to know, where do we find the image folders? So in other words, can you go over, like, you're ready to use the software, ready to install it, where the folders have to be, how do you let it know all that stuff?
It can be anywhere on your computer or on a network accessible from your computer. So if you can click open and you can browse to it, it's the same. That's all it is. You're just setting a folder. That's all. So it's literally anywhere you like.
We did include about, I think, 6 or 7 or 8 training modules where we go into detail on that. I actually demonstrate that to you, how to put stuff into folders and how to maneuver to the folder from the software from Social Post Magic. And those should be in the members area where the software is, wherever you purchased. So.
Yeah, when you purchase that, we're looking at Mike's computer right now, but when you purchase that and you get in the members area at the top, you'll see where you download the software. Of course, you get a license sent to you from us separately. That gets sent to you as an email. And then you have the training videos. So just start at the top, work your way through those. Gloria did those. They're excellent. And I think that will answer most questions.
I think most of it is, once you've done it once, that's like you're an expert on doing that from there on in. It's pretty...
Tom, that'll be later on. Tom, we generally make our products available for people on our list either at a lower price or adding more into the product for the same price than we do for the public at large, but that will be later on. Mark has a really good question. It's about, I think basically, let's talk a little bit about the difference between the memes and the pictures, so those first 2 columns.
Okay.
Just a little more, because people are like thinking, well, which one's which and what are the differences and why are they different, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, well, let me pull my folder back in then. So the memes are a computer generated. Basically, you've got, where's my gone? There it is. So you've got all these different categories that you can choose from. Okay, so whatever. I like motivational ones. I can choose that, and inspirational ones as well. By the way, they by far seem to get shared the most. Don't know what they do to my audience anyway, so I'm just kind of throwing that out there. But whenever I post from those 2 categories, they get shared loads. And what that then does is very similar to the meme dog product that we have, but like what we've done is we've refined that that whole meme dog thing literally to a fine art based on what we've had proven to be the most engaging, the most shared content. So we've got the best images that is provided. We're using Pixabay to pull those images in, but they're pulled from the very, very specific. What we're actually pulling in as well is we've profiled the API to pull in images that have been voted and shared for the most on Pixabay already. So that these are highly shared images, proven. There's no guesswork in there. These images have been shared a lot in their own right without the quote on them anyway. What we then did was, based on the how well those quotes were being shared, we refined the database to include the most shareable quotations, the most likable quotations, so the combination being a highly viral meme that's created, and they're created every single time it goes to post. It'll create a new image completely. So, well, unless you do however many, what was 224 million, that's how many you would need to get through in order to do that. I'm just wondering if I've got any more I can show in here. No, not at the moment. What I'll do is I'll pull up a couple of my accounts in a minute, and we can see some of the ones that I've posted up there and earlier on this evening. So that's the automatic meme. So they're completely dynamic. They're just made on the fly, highly engaging, proven to be shareable images, and it'll just make them for you at your beck and call. The local images are effectively their static images. They're one that's a folder full of images that you've said, I want them posting. All the images that randomly pick one from that folder and post them out for me on a regular basis, and it'll just randomly pick for forever. So potentially it'll post the same image over and over again. If you've only got one image in the folder, then it's only got one choice to make, so it'll always post that image. If you've got a couple of images, it'll randomly choose one or the other. And so on up to in infinity, really. You could have as many images in there as you possibly wanted. It's effectively a way of you, or the way I would be using it, or the way I will be using it, is I'll be putting on either a specific image like the infographic that I know is going to be engaging and add credibility to my skills as a search engine optimization guy or a social media guy or whatever it is I'm promoting myself as, and actually put in plain and simple banner advertisements, creating little banners and putting them all in a big folder and just spitting them out there and letting people see my advert. So that's how the local images work. So let me just pull up, let's have a look on LinkedIn, see what I did on there. Anybody watching my LinkedIn account over the last couple of days is going to be like, what's this guy doing? Let's have a little look. I'll need to look at me, won't I? Sorry guys, just bear with me. I probably should have had this all a bit more racked up, shouldn't I? But anyway, let's see if I can pull a couple of these up for you. Sorry, bear with me. I think the webinar's just slowing my computer down just a little bit.
That's okay. I'm just sitting here answering questions, so just, carry on.
Yep, we'll pull that in. So here's one I posted. And again, this was just done automatically. It got a like. Straight away, let's have a look at another one.
Guys, I'm having a ton of you guys ask me if you can be affiliates for this. The answer is probably yes.
A little bit steady this evening.
But we do not have this set up for affiliates through JVZoo at the moment. That's a week or two down the road, probably about 2 weeks. So just you're welcome to hit me up on social media or Facebook or wherever you happen to find me and ask me. Email for me personally is probably the single worst way to try to get hold of me. There are no great ways, but that would be about the worst way. I mean, you're welcome to try to email me, but some days I get hundreds and hundreds of emails and just give up and move on. So just hit me up on LinkedIn or Facebook or something and just ask, and be happy to take a look at that. Mike, while you're looking at that,
okay, so that was an image that
Mark, I think we covered. So a lot of people are asking where to find these folders, like the image folder and the text folder, and when you saw the interface up there just a minute ago, near the bottom left, that lets you navigate out to your computer or wherever to find those folders. Okay, so you're basically telling the software, go here and get those images, go there and get those text files, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so I mean, literally, if I want to set my local image folder, I'd click on there. I'm actually going to browse into. Where are we?
And Wall, you could definitely use the software
so
for business clients. Absolutely. Matter of fact, you can charge them a ton of money for what you're doing there.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. I mean, I could browse straight into there. I think that is actually the search engine optimization folder it's got all those images in there. If I pull the actual, if I pull that up there with me, social post magic. Okay, so look, so there it is in my Explorer. That's the folder there. If I go into that, it's a folder full of images. Okay, so that's all my search engine optimization. I mean, these are really cool. I'm going to get sharing these in actual fact. So they're all in there. So that's really cool. So literally all I'm doing is I'm saying, look in that folder, clicking OK, and there we go. It's pulled that up. So then whenever it goes to do a post, it's going to randomly pick either a meme or an image in this instance. If it picks images, it's just going to go and look in that folder and randomly pick one of those images and then just go ahead and post it. So does that clear that up for everybody? Because I know the video training is second to none. You've got one of the best social media trainers in the world explaining how to do this. Probably better than I do as a bit more of a techie guy. So you will get that in there, but it just gives you that freedom. If you've got multiple folders with different banners and different adverts and things like that in, you can quite easily. Go to the one that you want, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Mike has a great question. If your niche is not one of those in the done-for-you content product, then how do you convert your own content to be able to use it for this program? Mike, I mean, the short answer to that is the training videos inside the members area will show you exactly what the content needs to be like. So what format, and look, this is not a thing that's
exactly that, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No, I mean,
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, all I was going to say is we've purposefully tried to keep it as simple as possible. I mean, the adverts, it's as simple as writing some stuff in Notepad and clicking save. The images, they're just images, so just images. Just drop some images in there, it'll work. It's as generic as it can be to make it as easy as possible for people to use.
Little more still a little confusion about the memes and the image thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to load up images in order to run the memes part, correct?
No. Not
but if you want to run the images part, okay,
yes,
then you got to load up your images. Or you can buy our images and load those and use those images.
Yeah.
Tom, that may be something for future.
The meme thing is just.
Yeah, I think we were talking over each other a little bit there. Well, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just saying the meme creation element. You can see on one of my Facebook accounts, there's a few I've posted up there that, to give a few examples, we've got a few likes going on. It's because the images are just people love them. But that's just an integral part of the software. It'll just keep making those all day long. but you've got that facility to specify very specific images, i.e. adverts, that you can get posted out there.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. I've had several people say, well, are you planning on including this other platform? Why this platform instead of that platform, all that stuff. The short answer to that is because we want to price this so that everybody can buy it. I mean, and obviously we are rapidly working on and have lots of cool social media software that's in the pipeline and in the works. But if we put everything in there, then we wouldn't be selling this at this price. So number one, which may be totally cool for somebody who wants to pay a few $100s for something. But we realize that a lot of people either don't want to or can't. And we wanted to cover the big social media platforms because if you cover those big social media platforms, the ones that come with this, you can build an entire business just with those. So later on you can, buy other software from us or not and do something else, but at least we got you covered here. Mark, yeah, the memes folder is integral to the software, so it just trundles out and finds the memes and does it all itself. The images folder you have to specify. Bob says, I can only learn one thing at a time. Well, Bob, that is actually a great deal of wisdom, and you will notice that even us, and we do this all day long, we tend to specialize very much in social media platforms. So, yeah, 4 is a ton. 1's really all you need. More is better, especially if you got software. If you don't have software, then more is not better, because more is basically you're going to end up being what Mike calls a social media hippie, which is a person that sits around and posts stuff and never makes money.
I mean, the one thing that a few people have said on the subject of social post magically is that it's quite cool because, I know a lot of people that are close to us, and certainly in the last few months have naturally become quite focused on LinkedIn because a lot of our tools have been focused on LinkedIn. And I know one guy, friend of mine, he said, I'm killing it on LinkedIn. I'm so pleased with LinkedIn. It's like I almost don't need to do anything else. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, yeah, that's I'm really pleased that it's going so well for you. But equally, there may come a time that you're ready to start. You want more leads, you want to ramp things up or whatever, or you just want that extra reach. And I showed him Social Post Magic, and he said the really cool thing about that is, I could just leave that just on the memes, just on one a day even, just kind of sat there in the background, posting out to my Facebook, posting out to my Twitter, posting out to my Google Plus, just so it's not like it's dead, like I've completely abandoned, that bit of my social media, which means I can still do my LinkedIn stuff, but I'm not abandoning all the other stuff, and it's quite cool. It's good quality content that's being posted out to it. So that's brilliant, because actually he'll be building his audience, he'll be building his credibility, so that when he suddenly thinks, right, I'm going to start ramping up on Facebook now because I've saturated LinkedIn, I'm getting every last drop out of LinkedIn, I want to do a bit more with Facebook. He's going to kind of already have a warm audience to go and start promoting to. And I mean, again, even if you're just promoting out to those other networks, I mean, if you're not that busy on them anyway, and you're sending out, you send out a few memes, you send out a few text adverts or whatever, and you get a couple of extra leads from it, well, it's it's leads for nothing, isn't it? I mean, they're never a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we all have that same problem. I mean, I was over at Google Plus, because I do a lot of Hangouts and stuff, and I just kind of looking around Google Plus and just felt this sort of large depression sort of building up in my head, thinking, oh God, I got to do this now. And then I just can't wait. This was a few weeks ago. I just can't wait till Mike gets the software done, because that way all I got to do is press a button, and at least I'm covered over there on Google Plus, where I don't hang out a bunch except through Hangouts, so that does make it important for me. But with the software, you got like this, you've got that consistently posted content, and then if you really specialize in a certain area, like for me personally, Facebook is where my internet marketing business lives. LinkedIn is where a lot of my other business stuff lives. So I can go to those on an individual basis and interact with people, you know, message people, talk to people, et cetera, et cetera. But at least I know I've got content going out. We've got some really good questions about the memes. Larry wants to know, is there any convenient way to download the memes? I don't know why he wants to download them. He just wants to know why. But we got another follow-up question, which I think is a really good question. And Mark, that is your question.
Okay. Well, I mean, as far as the memes are concerned, they do get cached into a folder in the program file, you know, deep within the program file. So if you want to go in there and get to that folder, I mean, I'll shoot a little video if you like, and we can put that up in support, and I'll show people how to get to that really quickly and easily. And you know, that's cool.
Well, I think
there's no quick.
Yeah.
It's not Meme Dog. You know, if you want loads of memes, go buy Meme Dog. it's a different tool for a different job, really.
Well, I think Mark's question is going to throw some light on this, because Mark says, can I add my own memes? And, you know, Mike, I'm looking at this and thinking, well, what would I do? I would turn off auto memes and turn on local images and put my memes in a local image folder. That would be my quick and dirty way of doing that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's exactly it.
So, Mark, if you've got a boatload of pictures with, you know, text, like, let's say that you're interested in a certain really narrowly defined niche, or you're like a network marketer in a certain company, and you need a certain look and feel that's really specific to you, then yeah, you can make that local images folder. You can just use that as your quote unquote memes folder.
Yeah, I mean,
put all your stuff.
Share a real ninja tip with everybody. You know, a bit of a bonus one this actually, but one really cool way that you can use exactly that approach, because you know you can have a whole mixture of images in your local images folder. You just need to set the thing. And very often, you know, you might be on Facebook, or you might be on any of the networks, and you notice a picture or an image or something that's just getting absolutely shared like crazy. Well, they're little golden nuggets, and they're always worth just right-clicking and saving, because you know, the proven successful images, and you know, if it's worked once, it will work again. Maybe not straight away, but it will work again. So you know, if you see an image going crazy successful, I mean, I'm just going to have a quick look on LinkedIn and see if I can give you all an example. But if you see that happening, what better an opportunity to just right-click, save that to your local images folder, or a folder that you could set as your local images folder, and you know, reuse it, keep posting it. You know, just fill that thing up over time with, you know, extremely well-received images on top of the ones that you can create yourself as well.
And you know, the image is going viral anyway. I mean, it's not like you're cheating doing that or anything. The image is going viral anyway. All you're doing is just helping it go viral. So, guys, we've had
that's all that anybody's doing anyway.
Mm-hmm, sure. We've had a ton of questions.
That's all that anybody's doing.
I've tried to get to them all. I may have missed some. So, if you need questions answered, now's the time. I think everybody's got the link to buy this, because I've noticed a lot of people are buying it. Larry, you read my mind. It's a bit.ly link. Larry, I'm going to put it in here for you. That's a great question, Mark. Hang on just a sec. So, Larry, that should be clickable. If not, just copy and paste it from the HTTP all the way through the end. But if y'all want to just type this into your browser, it's bit.ly/socialpostmagic. That will take you to the page. And the done-for-you content and the Book of Secrets, those are what we refer to as upsells, additional things that you might be interested in buying. If you Some people are getting that URL for the Book of Secrets and some people aren't. I think basically it will eventually come to you in a few minutes, but if you need any of that, just let me know. Mark has a great question. Will this post only to your personal Facebook page or to groups?
It's not a group post. It will just log into your Facebook and post as you, as it stands, or whichever Facebook account you feed it. But yeah, it's not posting to any groups.
Okay. So it's just like you're sitting there on your profile and, you know, you got a picture of your cat and you post that.
Yeah.
Larry's got a different, he says he has a different question. Can we put the URL links in our text from the program? I think he's saying like in the text-based files, are the links clickable? So that's a great question. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, let's give an example. So, I mean, I've just opened, it's just, you know, bog standard notepad file that you know, just a word of warning, guys, just use notepad for this. It doesn't want to be Word or anything like that. You know, it's not going to open correctly, but if you just use notepad, it's all going to work fine, and literally you can just go in here, it's my advert, find my stuff. There we go. I could pop that in there. I can use multiple lines if I want, and then literally I could just put in here that. Job done. File, save as, save that into my adverts folder. What will happen is when that gets posted onto the networks are just really good at noticing that things are web addresses and making them clickable. So if the network supports it, which most of them, I think they all do in actual fact, but I'll double check that. You know, it'll just become a clickable link that people can get to quite quickly. That's it. There's nothing more clever than that, I'm afraid. It's as simple as it can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, simple works. So yeah, a couple of follow-up questions on the profile versus group thing. What about posting to Facebook fan pages as opposed to your Facebook profile?
No, it just goes. It doesn't go to fan pages. It just goes to your standard profile. That's something we might look at in the future.
Now again, guys, we gotta. I mean, we can do amazing stuff, but that's going to make the price amazing. So, you know, the goal here, the ultimate goal here is to get something that's going to make your business run, and we base everything that we do on how we three have used social media presently and in the past on what works manually, and so then basically the software just automates that. What other questions can I answer? I've typed in answers while Mike was talking to various easy-to-answer questions. Anything else that I can help you guys with? Well, we got Mike on here. It's a rare occasion. So anything you need to ask him. Mark, thank you so much. Mark says, I love Mike's stuff. Thank you so much. Mark, I love Mike's stuff too. I mean, Gloria, how many times were we talking over the past couple of weeks? Because you and I have some huge stuff that we've been waiting on this piece of software for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
exactly.
Yeah, we have been like, when's he going to get done? When's he going to get done? When's he going to get done? It's like,
Skype, so how's it going, Mike? Yeah, I tell you, when I got a hold of it and started just playing with it, it is really amazing. The only tool that I was really using before for my postings was Hootsuite, and I hated it because there was a lot of work in putting everything in the scheduler. Just like Mike said, it did it, on the dot, and it says posted by Hootsuite or something like that, and I totally just got rid of my Hootsuite account. That is no more. Hootsuite, no more. Bye-bye, hashtag bye-bye Hootsuite.
I was going to say.
This is so awesome because it doesn't leave that posted by Social Post Magic. It's you posting it.
Yeah,
so and really, really cool.
You basically gave Hootsuite the boot this morning, I think.
I did.
And I'm about to as soon as we get off the webinar, because I pay for Hootsuite too. Peter, MemeDog is a piece of
Yeah.
software that creates memes, and it creates them very rapidly, and we use them in this way. I just checked the sales page. What what I'll do, Pete, I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do this because it's currently closed. Our stuff normally stays open for a little while and then we close it because we're rolling it into other things, raising the price, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, Peter, can you hit me up? I'm sorry to start so many sentences at the same time. Peter, I'm going to give you my Facebook, where you find me on Facebook. Just hit me up there and we'll figure this out. If you're interested in purchasing it, we're happy to sell it to you. But what it does, it basically takes a whole bunch of pictures and a whole bunch of quotes, puts them together, and creates folders of memes that are very, very niche specific. And we use those. I use those myself to create crazy amounts of engagement on social media. And Peter, you could actually, now you've got memes inside of this piece of software, but if you want more, if you want specific things, like I was killing it with memes around Christmas, okay, because I had all these crazy Christmas memes, and I mean my profile engagement, I mean it just went up. It looked like it looked like the Alps or something. It was just like the steep rise. It was crazy. But you could use MemeDog, create a whole bunch of very, very specific memes on something, load those up into the images part, and run that. So Peter, before we end up, I'm going to send you my link to find me on Facebook. Just hit me up there and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Tom, we're going to keep this focused on this software here. If you got any questions about something else, please use support on that. Yes, Wall. Yeah, the license is for 2 computers, and that's pretty much a standard for all of our software. So for previous stuff that you bought, 1 license, 2 computers. Anything else I can help you guys with, or while we got Mike on, or Gloria? I mean, you have an amazing programmer, a social media ninja, and me. So let us know let us know if we can help you with anything. Peter, I just popped that in there, so hit me up on Facebook and we'll figure that out. Thank you, Wall. I don't, Mark. I'm just a good old Southern boy, so But believe me, Glory will tell you, my ego is fairly large, so I have to keep it in check. There may be some other, again, on the platforms, why these 4, can we add? Okay, so let me get real clear on some stuff. We're selling this for $37. So will we add more stuff into this particular product as an update that you can get for free? The answer is categorically no. Otherwise, I can't charge you $37 for it. I'd have to charge you a whole bunch more. Are we going to create other products? You're mentioning YouTube. We got one in the works. Somebody else has mentioned Instagram and Pinterest. Somebody else, I think, mentioned Reddit and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, we've got all that stuff in the works. That's future pieces of software, maybe what we call one-offs, things like this where you pay us one time and then you get to use it. Maybe in the future a monthly thing. I mean, it's just what we're, it's what we're, that just has to do with how we build our business. But so that's the long answer to that question. Yes, we're covering that stuff. Great question. Hang on. Yes, we're covering that stuff. No, you're not going to get it for this price with this piece of software. John, this is the first time that anyone besides me or Gloria or Mike has seen this piece of software. Okay, this is the first time this is released. You can only buy it through us, and you can't buy it through affiliates, and won't be able to for a week or 2, at which point it will be for sale again for a short amount of time, and then it will be closed off. Mike, here's a great question. I've had this 2 or 3 times. if you're gonna, let's say you're an offliner, you're a business consultant, you want to use this with some clients. I mean, if you got one client or two clients, I'm guessing you probably don't need to worry about the proxy thing. If you got 50 clients, I'm guessing you do need to worry about the proxy thing. When do you need to start thinking, oh my God, need to start learning about proxies and find out about proxies and you know, get those working with this thing between, let's say, one client and 100 clients?
I think the most important thing is how many posts you actually send in a day is kind of the big multiplier on that. I mean, if you've got, you know, even if you've got like 5 or 10 clients, but you're pushing out dozens and dozens of posts per day from the same IP address, well, I'd probably be starting to think about some proxy accounts for them. You know, and equally, you know, if you've got 50 clients, but you're not doing it every single day, then you know you're probably going to get away with that as well. It's difficult to weigh the two up. You know, I mean, it's the bottom line is it's the quantity of posts that you're pushing out there as well. If you're posting regularly a lot, then you know you probably need to start at least educating yourself as to, you know, how that whole kind of thing pieces together and works, and what the costs involved in that are as well. Because I mean, again, that's another, you know, proxies are a business expense at the end of the day. If you're working for lots of clients, it becomes an overhead of doing that. You can, you know, I'll go into more detail on the Book of Secrets webinar, but you know, yes, you can go out and get free proxies. They're crap. You just wouldn't bother, and you know, unless you know, they don't work very well. There are places that you can get good proxies cheaply, and there are other ways of handling that whole thing. There's one way in particular which I won't go into detail now, but I certainly will cover in depth on the webinar that again can offset that whole kind of footprint that you're leaving by, you know, punching out loads of content. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, if you've got posts going out from more than a few accounts, or you know, every hour of the day, then it's time to start thinking about proxies.
So a couple of things, Mike. It's really not how many clients you have, it's how much content you're posting from one IP address per day. Yeah. That's really the deal.
Yeah.
And two, you're going to teach them the inside skinny on proxies, when to use them, how to find them, which ones are good, which ones are junk, et cetera, on the Book of Secrets. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got someone's name coming through here as capital B, lowercase r. I don't know what to call you. I'm guessing your name's not Bird. If it is, that's totally cool. But I hope I've answered Brian, thank you so much. I hope I've answered your question there. Or I hope Mike's answered your question there. If not, let us know. Cool. Wall is going to be on the webinar when he is in LA. Wall flies all around the Pacific Ocean, so when he stops, he gets on webinars. Excellent. Brian, thank you so much. Anything else, guys? Happy to answer your questions. Now's the time, though, since you have our focused attention. Well, cool. This is Wednesday. It's going to be open through Saturday evening, midnight Eastern time, and at this price. The price is it's not a dime sale or anything like that. This is what we call our peeps only price. So after that, it will go off the market for a while. And awesome. Wall wants to have lunch with you next time he's in the UK. He flies all over the world, so Wall is hilarious to have on webinars because it's always funny to find out where in the world he is. It's amazing.
Hit me up next time you're in the UK, Wall. Just let me know.
Lyle has a great, hang on, Mike. Lyle has a great question, and Lyle, I saw this and then forgot about it, and I apologize. The posting time. What time is that actually set to? Is that the
local computer time?
So it's the time of whatever your computer is currently set to.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. There you go, Lyle. Hope that answers that. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. This has been recorded. It will be downloaded. It takes about, I may have it in the, I may have it up on the page later on today, or it may be tomorrow morning. Not sure. Joy bought the light version, and Joy is thinking she needs to upgrade to the pro version. Joy, hit me up on Facebook, please, and I can do that for you. Well, I will give Mike your information there. Okay. So let me type this in for Joy. Oh, you bet. You know, the goal is for you to get the thing that's going to work for you and your business. So happy to do that. That's me on Facebook. We're probably already connected. If we're not, just, you know, message me and friend me, and then I'll just tell you what you need to do to upgrade. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we really, really enjoyed having you on the webinar.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Always appreciated.